So good day everyone. Today we were going to tackle the chapter 12 in the life and works of Rizal, which is the romantic interlude in Japan, 1888. So here are the topics that we will going to unlock. The first event that happens in this chapter is dated in February 28, 1888. This is the date where Rizal arrived in Japan, which mainly in city of Yokohama. He registered or checked in the Grand Hotel for only one day. Later on, the next day, he proceeded to Tokyo, which he checked in Tokyo Hotel from March 2 to March 7. So it didn't last that long because during his stay in Tokyo Hotel, he received a visit from this secretary of Spanish legation named Juan Perez Caballero. And Juan Perez Caballero visited Rizal just to invite him to stay in Spanish legation, which is Rizal finds smart enough. He already know that the Spanish diplomats authorities, he already know that these authorities have already given intelligence in Japan to keep an eye to him. So Rizal accepted the invitation to live in Spanish legation for all of his stays in Japan because first, it is convenient for him. It will less the cost of his living in Japan. For the Spanish legation will be provided his shelter and also the food. Aside from that, the second reason why he accepted that offer is because he believed that he is not keeping any secrets against the Spanish authorities. So why does he will decline that invitation? So in the end, he accepted that. By March 7, he already checked out in Tokyo Hotel and moved to the Spanish legation. So during the stay of him in Spanish legation, he already have a close friendship with Juan Perez Caballero. He was able to know the man as a novel and also fine and excellent writer. So he described Juan Perez to his letter to Blumentritt. Also, when he arrived in Japan, he also wrote a letter to Blumentritt saying that Japan is far or Tokyo is more expensive than the city of Paris. So during the time when he was in Tokyo, Rizal had this little visit or shopping with different shopping store. And then during that time, of course, Rizal doesn't know how to speak in Japanese. So during the time that he is going around, people loud at him because he doesn't know how to speak the language. We all know that Rizal has this ancestry that has a bloodline of Japanese. So his facial picture is somewhat shows that he is a Japanese person. Now, during the times that he roams around, the people think that he is a Europeanized Japanese who doesn't know how to speak his own language, and it is such an embarrassment for him because even the children that he described as the ill-educated children laugh at him. And of course, Rizal as a man that has an ego, especially if it is about the knowledge, it is such an embarrassment for him. So he make a way to study the culture, the language, even the drama of Japan, just to understand the whole customs and to avoid further embarrassment while he stays there. So as a linguist himself, after just a days, he was able to learn the language. And then there is one afternoon that he decided to walk in the street of Tokyo, and he met this band or musical band who is playing the music of Strauss, which is a Westernian music. And it impressed him because of how they play well the Westernian music, only to find out later on that this band is Filipinos, a group of Filipino musicians, which makes him more impressed about them and to the talent of the Filipino people he always admired. So after that, he also made time to visit different museums, different libraries, galleries, even botanical garden in Japan, which is more likely of his interest. Now, Rizal's impression in Japan. During that time when he was staying in Japan, he is roaming around and knowing the culture, especially the customs of Japan. And he already fell in love with the beauty of the country, the flower, the scenery, the mountains, also the cleanliness of the environment, as well as the politeness of the people, together with the industrious characteristic of them. Also, he loved the way they dressed up, especially the woman or the Japanese woman. Of course, it's Rizal. And also, he was able to compare it to the Manila, because in Japan or in Tokyo, you can barely see a thief who's roaming around, so you can keep your door open and lose nothing. And also, he rarely see beggars in the street, just like what he always see in Manila, and that's what he loved about Japan. Aside from that, if there are the things that he wanted about Japan, there is also one thing that he hates about it, which is their mode of transportation. He hates it because it is a rickshaw. So when we say a rickshaw, this is like a kalesa in Philippines. Now, that rickshaw, if the kalesa in Philippines is being carried by a horse, in Japan it is different. He hates about how it is carried by men. So he hates how they are being labored in that way. So that is the one thing that he doesn't like about Japan. But overall, he likes everything, especially the culture. Now, of course, romantic interlude is the title of this chapter. So the main focus of this is the way he met this pretty Japanese girl that changes his perspective about Japan. So one day, he was walking outside the garden of Spanish legation. So while he was walking, he saw this girl pass by the gate of Spanish legation. And then, of course, because of its beauty and charm, Rizal had an eye of her. And then he asked those employees around what is her name, and this one Japanese gardener helped him out to distinguish who is this. The name that being introduced to him by the gardener is Seiko Usui. Now, the next day, Rizal waited at the Spanish legation garden again to finally meet this girl. And again, like what the Japanese gardener told to him, that this girl is always walking past by every afternoon in that Spanish legation gate. He waited and he successfully met. So when he met this girl, he does the German custom, which is bowing and removing his hat, and that is German custom. And he tried to communicate with the girl using Japanese language. But then, since Rizal is just had the days of staying there, although he knows how to use the language, he cannot use it like a native like. So to help him out and to avoid to embarrass himself, this Japanese gardener helped him out to introduce himself to the girl. So the Japanese gardener translated everything about Rizal. He introduced Rizal as this physician from Manila who is a visitor of the Spanish legation. Of course, with that kind of profile, the pretty girl named Seiko Usui was very impressed of the profile of Rizal. So she introduced herself using the English language because she knows how to speak English at the same time French. So that was a big relief for Rizal because language is not a barrier anymore when he wanted to pursue this girl. So after that meeting, after that introduction, these two see each other almost every day. So they help Seiko Oisei-san help him out every day to understand more about what Japan is. So Rizal called her as a Oisei-san. So together they visited libraries, interesting spot, Imperial Art Gallery, which are very interested for Rizal. And at the same time, luckily, Oisei-san is also interested with the same things. So it adds up to his admiration to the girl. So Oisei-san became his ideal woman, the one that is pretty at the same time intelligent. So because of this charming modesty and intelligence, he got almost tempted to stay in Japan, settle down, and had a life with her. But then, aside from that, there is another factor that tempted him out to turn his back away from his responsibility in his own country, because the Spanish legation gave him opportunity to work there and stay there for good. But then, as a man and as a Filipino, his love for Oisei-san is not enough for him to turn his back against his responsibilities. So in his last day, his last day diary for Japan, he gave the whole page as a tribute for Oisei-san as his lover. And then April 13, when he boarded in an English steamer that is bound to United States, which is his next stop. Now, in United States, before he boarded there, he had a lot of experiences while on voyage. But before we proceeded to that, let's first tackle what happened to Oisei-san after Rizal's departure. So, for your information, Rizal only stayed in Japan for 45 days, more than 1 month. And then, Oisei-san's life after Rizal's departure, she resigned to her faith. She resigned to her faith when it comes to love. So after Rizal's departure, she doesn't have any lover at all. But during 1897, a year after Rizal was executed in Manila, she got married to Mr. Alfred Charlton, a British teacher of chemistry in a preschool in Tokyo. And that's the only time she accepted other lovers after Rizal. Now, let's tackle the Rizal's voyage across the Pacific. So on board to the ship, he met a semi-Filipino family of Ronaldo Turner and his wife, English wife, which is Emma Jackson. So they have children. So his son approached Rizal and asked about Rizal. So the child or the boy asked him in this way, Do you know a famous man from Manila named Rizal? The boy pronounced his name as Rizal. So the boy told him that he wrote the novel Noli Me Tangere. That is an indication that Noli Me Tangere at that time was really spreading across the country. Rizal responded that, yes, I am Rizal. So the lucky boy and the happy boy, he ran away and told his mother about Rizal, and the parents is also happy to meet an almost like a celebrity while they are bound to US. So of course, the voyage going to US lasted for 8 months. So he met an unexpected friend named Tetko. So Tetko is a Japanese journalist, also a novelist, and champion of human rights as well. So they have commonality of Rizal when it comes to being against injustices and tyranny. So he leaves also Japan because of Japanese government and the way how they handled the whole country. So both Rizal and Tedco are against injustices. So Rizal told Tedco all of his story, his inspiration, what is he fighting for, about his novel, and little by little Tedco got know Rizal deeper, which is the reason why he admired Rizal so much, to the point that he became part of his journal. He became the inspiration of his own novel. So as you know, after their meeting, in 1889, Tedco came back to Japan. So he published his daily travel, which consists of different kind of positive description about Rizal. And also, after that, he resigned to his position because he is an editor to a newspaper named Choya in Japan. So when he resigned, he started to enter politics. 1890, when he got a position, which is a member of the lower house of Imperial. So a year after that, he had this confidence and power to publish his own novel in 1891 named Nankai no Daiharan, which means storm over the south of the sea. And this novel is resembled to the plot of Noli Me Tangere. So as you can see here, how Rizal really inspired and affected Tedco in a way that he became the inspiration behind the novel. So it doesn't stop there because Tedco published again another novel which is entitled O Una Bara, which means the Big Ocean, which was being published in 1894, and it is similar or resembles to the plot of El Filibusterismo. So after that, 49 years old, Tedco died because of heart attack in Tokyo in February 1896. And that's the end of their friendship. They never met again after they parted ways. That is chapter 12 all about. It's about love. It's about him learning the customs, the cultures of Japan, and meeting a Japanese friend. That's all. Thank you.